Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to perfectly decorate a cake. This is the simplest way to decorate a cake and it comes out perfect every time. So let's get started. So I've got all the tools laid out in front of me. Of course you're going to need cakes. I'll put a link to this recipe up here so you can go check that out. And you'll also need some frosting. This is an Italian meringue buttercream. You can use whatever frosting you like. Then you'll need some parchment paper, a cake leveler. Any cake leveler will do. This just happens to be the one I have. You'll need a piping bag, a large piping tip, an offset spatula, a frosting smoother, 2 cake boards. One is the same size as my cakes and one is a little bit bigger. And you'll need some simple syrup and a pastry brush and a turntable. So that's all the tools you're gonna need. Now let's get started decorating this cake. So first you'll need to remove your cakes from your pans and put them onto a sheet of parchment paper. If you greased, floured, and lined your pans, they should come out very easily. So just remove them from the pans and remove the parchment paper that was lined with. So just place each of your cakes onto the parchment paper and then use the cake leveler to level the tops. And you don't have to use a cake leveler, you can just use a long serrated knife, but you run the risk of it coming out uneven. So once you've leveled the tops, you'll need to remove the trimmed tops. So onto the turntable, I have the 8-inch round cake board. And just spread a little bit of frosting onto it so the cake sticks to it. And then add your first cake layer onto it. Then just add some simple syrup on top, and this will make sure the cake stays really moist. You don't need a lot. To make simple syrup, it's very easy. Just combine equal parts of sugar and water in a saucepan. I'm just using half a cup of each. Heat it on the stove until it boils and all the sugar has dissolved. Then remove it from the heat and let it cool completely. And then just add some frosting on top of it. And spread it out with the offset spatula. And then add the next cake layer on top. Add on some simple syrup. Then more frosting. And then the last cake layer you want to put upsides down on the top, and that's because the bottom is completely flat, which would give you a really flat top. Spread on a little more simple syrup and add a thick layer of frosting on top of the cake and spread it out until it's even. Then next you need to cover your larger cake board in a sheet of parchment paper. So place it onto the sheet and fold in the excess paper and then tape it all together. And once you've covered your cake board in parchment paper, you want to place it on top of the cake. Really quickly, you want to flip it over. So now I've got the large piping tip into the piping bag, and you just need to fill the piping bag with the frosting. And then you want the flat side of the piping tip to be facing outside. And then just frost all around the cake. And then use the offset spatula to smooth out the sides. Using the cake board at the top as your guide will help you smooth it out. And if you have any gaps, just fill them in with a little more frosting. And smooth it out with the offset spatula. And if there's any excess frosting, just scrape it back into the bowl. At this point, you're trying to fill in any gaps and remove any excess frosting. Don't worry about how smooth it is at this point. So once you think it's good, you then need to take your frosting smoother and run it under hot water. and dry it off with a paper towel. And then use it to smooth out the sides. And then scrape off any excess frosting. Run it under hot water again. And then you want to go around it just a little bit. Scrape off any excess. And just keep running it under hot water, drying it off and smoothing it out until it's as smooth as possible. So once you got the sides of the cake smooth, you then need to place it into the fridge for at least a half an hour until the frosting is set. So once the frosting is set, you can then remove it from the fridge. And any excess frosting from the top, just scrape it off. And then you need to flip it back over. Then remove the top cake board and peel off the parchment paper. And if you need to, just add some more frosting to the top and smooth it out as best as you can. And then to really smooth out to the top, run a long offset spatula under some hot water, dry it off with the paper towel, and just slide it across the top, and that will help give it a really smooth finish. If you like, you can place the larger cake board underneath the cake. And there you go, that's how to perfectly decorate a cake. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have so many more on my channel, so be sure to check them out and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.